I don't know. I'm coming in hot there.
What's going on, everybody?
I needed a cool, proper introduction every time. Like, to start off the show, you know what I mean? A good intro, like my personal intro.
Oh, okay.
I just need something, like, smooth and, I don't know. I just feel like I need a cool line, like a cool pickup line.
Doesn't Shab usually goes with, like, what's up, below the belt listeners.
Yeah, but
you listen to more podcasts than me. You would know, like, do some of the people you listen to, do they have usual, like, not catchphrases, but, like, they have, like, the same intro over and over kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, most of the ones I listen to have guests, so
they're
usually, like, I don't know, like, I listen to The Art of Manliness, if I'm going to throw out a weird one, I guess, or I don't know if it's that weird, but it's a guy from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he starts his off basically by describing his guest, goes through the music, and then it goes straight into the conversation with the guest. And I kind of think that that's appropriate when you have a guest, but when you don't have a guest and you have somebody that you usually talk to sitting across from you,
that's fair.
Then you gotta, I don't know, something catchy, like, and welcome to Head Kick Radio, and then maybe do like a self echo radio. I don't know.
Radio.
That would. All right, I'm reaching there.
Yeah.
We were talking about that a little bit ago of doing podcasts early in the morning, like when your brain is fresh and how ideas are just flowing and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, something that just popped in my head now, maybe that has to do with something like, maybe that's why I like to go work out first thing in the morning instead of like.
Well, maybe.
Like going at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or, 6, 7 o'clock at night or something like that. Yeah. I just
so
get up, get her started, and then, day only gets easier from there.
Yeah, we're doing this one late at night, or not late at night. It's like 7 p.m.
Mid-afternoon, dinner time.
Yeah, but it feels, this is the time I work out, so I feel like I should be moving around right now. But I'm also kind of tired from a long day. But in the mornings, my brain is what's firing. It's like my brain works throughout most of the, like in the morning and throughout most of the day. And then my body takes over, and then that's when I work out or, go to jiu-jitsu or something like that. Yeah,
this morning at work, I just kind of hit a wall. I told you my hours are a little funky right now. I was in at 4 o'clock this morning. But I would probably say like by 10:30, 11 o'clock, like I'd like basically eating my lunch / breakfast, brunch at that point or whatever. I just hit a wall. I was like, I need a nap, or I need a shot of caffeine, or I need something, because I'm, after it's actually funny, actually after listening to your last podcast and stuff like that, like, your buddy was saying usually the first thing he tells people to like cut out, or is like, hey, he's like, don't drink as much soda, or just don't drink soda. He said, what did he say? Those liquid
calories.
Carbs or calories.
Yeah, they add up.
They add up quickly. So I'm still gonna enjoy my soda. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm never gonna drink soda again, because I know I'm lying. I love soda, but
do you think you have a addiction to sugar? Like maybe a crack addict has an addiction to crack?
Maybe I don't know. There's no such thing as a minor addiction. You're either addicted or you're not. But I don't know. Maybe, but like I say, I don't drink coffee. Like, I don't know, because I thought you were going to ask me if I was addicted to caffeine.
No.
Which at that point I would say, like, no.
I'm talking about your sugary drinks.
Sugar? Maybe, because, I mean, I do like, a nice glass of lemonade every once in a while. I obviously enjoy, like I said, I enjoy soda and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe. No one's ever asked me that question before. But
if you're addicted to sugar?
Yeah. Like I don't eat chocolate. Like,
do you eat other candy, like Sour Patch Kids?
Not that I don't eat chocolate, but like it's, you know what I mean? Like I don't like go out and like, ooh, I could really use some chocolate right now. Like, nah, I never like have those thoughts.
Like Oscar the Grouch gets a fiend for cookies.
Yeah.
Or no, that's Cookie Monster, man.
Yeah, let's follow up, a couple podcasts ago, a healthy podcast talking about our favorite candy.
I would go dark chocolate.
You said Sour Patch Kids.
No, I was asking you. I mean, what is that? What you're eating? Are you eating some gummy worms? Are you eating some of that weird sugar stuff instead of chocolate?
All of that would be in my top 5. Like, I'm really into the gummies. Like, if I'm like, Skittles are probably my favorite candy, and that's just pure sugar.
Is it because you go beast mode once you eat some of those?
Maybe
once you taste the rainbow.
I don't know, but I've always just been a very big fan of. Yeah,
Maybe I am getting so disciplined that when I do have that little cheat snack and it's not peanut butter, I get a like 72% cocoa bar.
Okay.
Mostly from Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
So that's kind of,
That's where you get like your sugar, your little sweetness from.
Yeah, it's about 225 calories per little bar.
Are you an ice cream fan at all or no?
No, I have a horror story about ice cream when I went to Oklahoma. And I'm too embarrassed right now to share it.
Okay.
But if the listeners hit me up in the comments, either on Facebook of this post for this episode, on Instagram, the photo, or Twitter, I was about to say, what else am I on? if at least, I'm going to say 5 people hit me up on it, I'll tell you this ice cream story. And it was so embarrassing, but it was the most hilarious thing ever. So I want some feedback. If you're listening, don't wait for somebody else to answer this. Get in the comment sections of one of those 3 platforms. Comment back. I'd like to hear if you guys want to hear this crazy embarrassing story.
I don't want you to give the story away because I want the fans to chime in. But is it something along the lines of you had too much, or is that giving away too much of the story?
I wouldn't say it was too much. It was a combination of things, but ice cream is kind of, it's what put me over the hill.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think I've ever I think everyone's gotten their upset stomach eating, so much candy in a short amount of time, but that's happened to me. But I don't think I've ever gotten I'm
just gonna say the combination was beer and ice cream.
That never sounds good.
Long day of drinking beer, and then at the end of the evening, I thought I'd have ice cream shake.
It's 110 degrees outside. Let's go get some ice cream.
It was up in the 90s. Up in the 90s.
Dang. All right. Well, hopefully people hit you up if we can hear the rest of this story.
I mean, it's a great story. You guys want to hear it, but I want some feedback. So I got to get something to give something here.
Okay.
But so Justin, what have you been up to since we haven't podcasted in a bit?
Mean, it's probably been you've done 3 episodes since the last time we posted one together. I'm sure you were proud to hear that I'm only 1 behind. You only posted that one a couple days ago, but it's a shorter one too, so I can get through it pretty quickly. Not shorter.
I am very proud because last time I didn't get very much feedback. I only got a few people on the feedback of what your punishment should be, and it was take a class of jiu-jitsu, but it wasn't even enough for me to even waste your time to tell you.
It wouldn't be wasting my time.
No, I'm not talking. Jiu-jitsu would be good for you.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to pressure you into jiu-jitsu.
People have to pressure me into doing a lot of things. I'm not a self-motivator, which is terrible. And I think we've talked about this when we were talking about working out. Like, I'm not that much of a self-motivated person. Like, I tell myself every week, like Monday you're going back to the gym. Here we go. It's gonna be back. Sunday night rolls around. It's like
you're the procrastinator guy.
100%.
Oh,
no, I'm
terrible.
not. I'm saying I will go back, but still haven't. And that was probably 5 or 6 podcasts ago when we were talking about that. 5 or 6 episodes ago.
You haven't been back in 5 or 6 weeks?
Oh, it's been longer than that, buddy. I think since...
Excuse me, sir. Will you take that gym membership card that's laying right beside your bed on the nightstand, take your toothbrush to it, comb the dust off that thing.
It's actually right here in my wallet.
And go put it to use.
It's actually right here in my wallet. But
collecting pocket lint?
Yeah, pocket lint and butt dust.
Butt dust?
Yeah, dude, I know. And like, it's one of those things where, you know, it's actually funny, like kind of relatable. I think it was your buddy, the guy who was former in the Army.
Oh, buddy Adam.
Yeah, it's actually funny. It was like one of those things where he said he was bending over to tie his shoe, and then he's like, "Nope, okay." Like it's about that time, and I'm getting close. Like I'm a small guy. Like we've talked about this before. I'm only 5'10", but
yeah,
I'm probably floating around like 200 bills.
I know the story you're referring to.
Or 2 bills right now. 200 bills.
When he went to scratch his nuts.
Oh, that was scratch his nuts. Sorry.
He said because when he rubbed his hand over his belly to get there, he was like, "Oh, I've got a problem. I'm starting tomorrow."
Okay, sorry.
Putting a stop to
See,
this.
mine was when I'm sitting at the edge of my bed, bending over to put on my shoes, and then I'm kind of like, "Oh, all right, that." And like you're kind of, you know what I mean? That thing you do after like you get out of the shower or whatever. You're like sitting down, just kind of getting yourself together or whatever. I looked down and I was like, oh boy.
I do everything standing up, sir.
Do you?
Yeah, this is 2018 year of fitness.
I'm a sitter downer guy.
Are you walk quarter of a mile, stop and rest?
No. Are you kidding me? No.
I was giving you a hard time because if you keep at this pace,
hope-
when you're 40 and 50, you're going to be that guy.
It's crazy to think that I'll be 40 in 12 years. And that's going to fly by. I still don't understand how it's September
12.
It's yeah. Well,
You can say the
we're
date.
recording it.
Yeah.
September. I still can't believe that. Like I feel like New Year's was a month and a half ago, or you know what I mean. Like I started dating my girlfriend. You know, we started kind of like dating each other like in February, and I was like, Jesus, that was that long ago. But not like in a bad way. That sounds bad, but it's just flying by, man.
Has the new war off yet?
No.
Still new between you guys?
Oh yeah, I'm still extremely happy.
Well, I mean,
Well,
you just insinuated that when.
Well, I didn't understand the way you were wording your question.
No, time out. You just insinuated that when it's no longer new.
It's over with, man. You're just not happy anymore.
There goes happiness. Right out the
once
window.
the honeymoon stage is over, that's when the fight begins, as they like to say, whoever they are.
I don't. But you're believing in this. You're following along. This is
I'm
confusing
not.
my brain.
I'm not falling for that. I'm not. No.
Apologize to your girlfriend right now. I hope she listens.
I'm sorry, Caitlin.
Does she listen to our show?
I think she has before, but I think we talk about things that, well, we started off talking strictly MMA, and she was like, it's hard for me to follow because I don't know anybody you guys are talking about. And
remember that one? It was like episode 3 or 4 or something. I said something about my mom or said something my mom did, and then my mom messages me.
Yeah.
It turns out she was listening to the show. I had no idea my mom even knew how to find a podcast.
Hopefully Ken will blow up my DMs after this and be like, oh, you were talking about me? All right, then.
When's the last time somebody blew up your DMs?
It's actually fun. Well, I mean, does being part of a group chat and being invited out to somebody's birthday count?
No.
Then never.
Nobody? You've never had somebody slide into your DMs?
No. Not that I can recall off the top of my head. Maybe like an old high school acquaintance.
Well, that's
that
what I'm
was
saying.
like
I'm talking, your existence of being on social media. I'm not saying
when the last
in the
time
past
it's been years. I mean, I'm 28. I mean, I feel like that DMs is like a young man's game.
Sir, I am older than you.
Well, I understand that, but are you still sliding into girls' DMs?
Dude, I've slid into 4 girls' DMs in the past
20 minutes.
No, I would say 2 years. I'm a shy guy, man. I just don't lay it out on the line.
Are you the kind of guy that would walk up to girls if you're out with like your buddies or something like that? Or does it depend on the social setting?
It kind of depends on the social setting. I can't just, I don't know, act like a tomcat around all my friends and be like, yo, I'm going to go pick up this chick. Yeah, that's not me.
Yeah.
If I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm going to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
If I'm going out, I'll go out by myself. Like, I am not ashamed.
Oh, really?
That's one of the weird things about me, I think, is I go out by myself.
Okay, you literally just said you're shy. But now you're saying you'll go out by yourself. So you just you're the guy just stands in the corner and just creeps on people?
No, that's weird. I go sit in the center of the bar, usually right there at the bar, and whoever sits around me, I'll have a conversation with them.
Okay.
And sometimes people walk up to you, and it's usually the ugly friend that you don't want, but you realize as you get a little seasoned into the game that you just talk to a friend, go back, meet her friends, find the hot one, start talking to her.
Go. Yeah.
If it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I can't brag. It's only worked twice.
See,
I probably used it 8 or 9 times. And
Yeah,
I'm not saying get her one of them I did hook up with eventually, humble brag there.
Yeah.
But the other one, we just texted back and forth and nothing happened. So it's not the success rate is probably just as bad as Tinder.
I've never gone to a bar and met a girl that night and hooked up with her. Whatever. I've never done that. Now, a friend of a friend or whatever, that's a different story. I'm
Wait,
with
you hooked up with a friend of a friend at the bar?
Yeah, like at the bar, dude. It was nuts.
Okay, that was okay. Sorry,
No.
my brain was like,
No,
what? Like,
not at
you
all,
just,
dude.
You went to the
No,
bar
like
with
you
a
know what I
friend of a
mean.
friend.
Like you meet like a friend of your friend out of the bar, and then you talk or whatever, and then whatever happens. But like that's more what would happen for me instead of like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to this random girl up at the bar and say, whatever.
It's easy.
Just walk up to her and just say whatever.
If they just sit right beside you and you're watching sports on TV, and if you notice they're paying attention or whatever they're paying attention to, all you gotta do is kind of be sneaky, see what they're paying attention to, and then hopefully you have enough background knowledge on everything around you that you can at least strike up a conversation.
Right.
She may think you're friendly.
Right.
She may exchange numbers.
Yeah. See, well,
she may even buy you a drink if you're a smooth talking.
That is fair. That is fair.
Have you ever thought that, like, cutting a WWE promo at the bar line on like a chick, just kind of like I was listening to Rogan's DDP thing, and then it just kind of made me think about it when he was talking about being a bouncer at a club, like when he was 21 or 23, or like head of bouncers or something. And then he did his like promo thing. For all the people that listened to it, it was kind of funny, but I was just sitting there thinking, like, I don't know, doing like a Randy Savage impression to somebody.
Or like, who would be the
hello girls?
Like who would be like the worst one to do?
It'd have to be Randy Savage.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, you can't just do the Macho Man voice to a random chick.
Hulk Hogan would probably be in that ballpark too. Oh, brother. Come on. That was a terrible Hulk Hogan.
He does call girls brother, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Doesn't he? I'm just making up words here. Doesn't he?
I don't know. I was more of a WWF guy before it was WWE.
Yeah, but the NWO
NWO did come over, but I stuck with my guys. I mean, of course I watched WCW. I watched that was like one of the coolest nights of my life when like Vince like chimed in on WCW and said I bought the company. Like that was one of the coolest nights of my young life at the time.
So, okay, speaking of that then, so what's the most insecure time of your life? Like when you're out and like and girls are involved, like in anything, whether it's like at school, whatever you've been through. What's the most, like, I'm not talking age, like don't say like when I was in high school, don't say that. Like as an adult, when's the time you're just like, oh, I'm so insecure to talk to this pretty lady beside me?
I mean, I hate to sound like super generic, but there's always that person that you like went to school with that like.
Oh, so it's somebody you already know.
Well, not necessarily. It's just like somebody I had like a class with and stuff like that, and like you'd have to work with. You know what I mean? You have to like work with people and stuff like that, and then like. Yeah, I made the mistake of like essentially trying to ask a girl out over texting, and she basically was like, "This isn't a good idea now." And I was like, ooh, all right, well, this is going to be embarrassing to go to class now. So basically, like, from then on, I was younger. Like, that wasn't, like, that wasn't recent.
When you're an adult, though, like, what's the most time you're
adult?
like, oh, man, I'm insecure from this, in this situation?
I don't know.
I can tell you mine.
Let me hear yours, and maybe I can come up with an answer for you.
I think at least half the listeners I know we have out of all of them. I don't know. I don't know half of them. Actually, there's more people than I know half of. Let's be real.
Okay. But
for the ones that have a martial arts background, so in jiu-jitsu, if I see a attractive woman, and I'm just like, man, and this is my pride and my ego here, but I'm just like, man, what if she thinks my jiu-jitsu sucks? I feel so insecure right off the bat, and like we haven't even warmed up yet.
Okay.
Like, I don't even care because it's like most of the time when guys go out there, like, man, I hope I look good, I hope I smell good, whatever. Yeah. Like, I hope I'm presentable. Like, everybody's like, oh, how I look. No, my most insecure time around women is like if they think my jiu-jitsu is gonna suck.
Okay. I mean, of course you've had it before too, where like you're hanging out with a group of people, and like I thought I was like kind of being funny and stuff like that, and like other people were laughing, and then just like. The person who you're trying to mostly get attention is just kind of like, whatever, like this guy's an idiot kind of thing. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of, they didn't like blatantly come out and say, but you can kind of just like tell from like the vibe of the room, like, yeah, me and this person aren't really going to get along that well. Like,
yeah.
You were cool at first, but I'm just trying to express myself a little bit, and you're not really. And I wouldn't necessarily have felt insecure. I was more just kind of like, well, if that's how you're going to be, that sucks, but, whatever.
Growing up, going to a lot of house parties as a young adult.
Yeah.
That was the worst, because, like, you'd find, the one you were attracted to that evening and the one you wanted to try to woo. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We're Ric Flairing over here.
Yeah. Woo. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
when she ignores you, that's when it's bad.
Yeah. It's not like there's like one instance. I mean, it's just happened. I mean, we're men. I mean, we've been rejected before. This isn't like,
I know.
You know what I mean?
We're not these little mini heartbreaks.
Yeah,
had
like,
a bunch of them.
Trust me. Like I've you've been through that enough times. I mean, that's what I would recall, because.
You know what's funny is going through that same stuff as an adult.
I feel like
all the same.
I feel like it's worse, because those occasions where you're in that kind of setting happen less and less. So like,
well, I mean, you are where you put yourself.
Well, that's true.
And I don't think they're worse. I think they're hilarious. I'm like, man, this is so funny. Like, a lot of things have changed in a decade of my life.
Well,
but that is one thing that never has. Like, the ones that you're interested in and they're not
Yeah.
interested in you, and then you can just see the vibe. You're just like, dang, but I'm still trying.
Yeah.
And then you just waste time, and the whole time you're like, yeah, I was just wasting my time.
Yeah.
That to me, when I leave and I come home, I'm like, huh, that's hilarious, dude. Like, it is, because you just think about it, you're like, man, I hope this works out. Like, she's really pretty, and I'd like to get to know her. But,
Yeah.
But my thing is once I think that, I'm like, oh man, she's really pretty. I want to get to know her. And then when I, 9 times out of 10, when I do get to know them, they don't live up to the standards that I then placed on them.
That you've already placed in your head.
I'm such an a-hole about it that it's why I'll be forever #single or single.
Well, so
forever,
that's what I was gonna say. Like that's what I was getting at. Is like, that's why I think, I don't know. At least I can speak for like myself. Like, when I was single for a decent amount of time before I met my girlfriend now, and it's like, we're not old, but we're adults now, and like, you're not in those social. At least for me, I mean, I work second shift, so our situations are a little different. I mean, we work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, the chance of you being in those social interactions with people are like, those occur a lot less and less the more you get older, because people are doing their own thing. Like, I don't work a normal Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5. I work till 11 o'clock, and I could work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So like, my weekends, I don't get a weekend kind of thing, and you know what I mean? Like, and I just feel like if you are single and you're in that situation and you do kind of get like shut down on her, I just feel like it just chips at you a little bit more, like, the older you get. Yeah.
But so, what removes all that for me is working out, going
of
to
course.
jiu-jitsu, hitting a heavy bag.
Oh yeah. I mean, working out is one of the best things you can do to like get over that kind of stuff. It helps you build self-confidence and all that kind of stuff like that. But you know what I mean? If you're having like a bad run of trying to, talk to girls or, talk to guys or whatever, like, it's gonna hurt your ego after a while, like, the older and older you get. And like I said, with, at least for me, because we were talking about, I'm not the kind of person that would go up to a person at like a bar or like just some random person at a party that like I don't know. Like, I mean, even my girlfriend I met like I'm dating now, I met her through a friend. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, or like in school, it was easy to meet people because you're stuck in a classroom for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever with this person. Like,
would you change that about you if you could?
Like, change what exactly?
Like, being the person who can't go up to somebody, or
no,
maybe can't slide in that DM or whatever.
No, not really, because I hate to say it, like, it's a cliche, but like, the girls you're like, most of the girls you're going up to at a bar, you're going up to for a specific reason. You're not like trying to necessarily date that person.
So you're saying when you slide into the DMs, you're only sliding into the DMs
now
for a
you
specific
could
reason?
Now 16-year-old Justin wasn't afraid to slide into DMs. That's how I met a girl I dated in high school. She was like a year younger than me, and I just messaged her on MySpace, and like, yeah, I ended up dating this girl for like a year and a half.
Did you put her in your top 8?
I mean, I think I was the guy that went the girlfriend number one.
I was with.
I was the guy that did the girlfriend number one, and then
I want to punch you right now, right in the face.
Dude, I was
right square in the face, buddy. That, I mean, not that I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little sour from going from 1 to 2 on my buddies, or whatever, 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, wherever I was on.
I hate to use the word expect, but I would expect my like guy friends to like just kind of, 1, get over it, and 2, kind of like understand.
Why can't the girlfriend just get over it, and why can't she just understand? We're your
boys.
That's
true, right? Bros before hoes.
I mean,
that's what they say, right?
Well, they did until they saw your MySpace top 8.
Yeah, man, and that was a bad thing with me in high school too, or like my late teens, early 20s, or whatever. I was the guy, like I was the girlfriend guy that when I got a girlfriend, I would disappear. Like I would just spend all my free time with my girlfriend and all that kind of stuff. And like it's changed now for the better, for the way better. Like
do I owe her money for you being here right now? Like
maybe.
Is it cool that we're hanging out?
Maybe. I mean, if she slides into your DMs, I guess you'll find out. I mean,
if she slides into my DMs, it's probably telling me she's going to kill you for how you started out this podcast.
Probably.
She's going to come after you.
Probably. But
it's going to be like Friday the 13th all over again.
Yeah. So do you have any prospects? Like, you were back home, so I'm sure you saw some old acquaintances maybe if you had time, but I'm not going to put your business out there like that, but I mean, do you have any young ladies that you're potentially chit-chatting? Is there anybody that's, I'm not saying give her a shout out right now, but I don't know, maybe let her know you're thinking about her.
I was reading this. School assignment today.
Okay.
And it was a whole thing about how you present yourself online and about being authentic and being who you are. And I was thinking, in this podcast, I've done really well up until this point, like especially when I've had guests on, like I've done my best not to curse. I've said probably 4 or 5 curse words in the however many episodes we've done now. 18, 19, somewhere in there. And I thought that, I do cuss. I wouldn't say a lot, but I cuss, about what the average person does. And I understand, like, there's some things, you just shouldn't say. Like, maybe you shouldn't drop a hard F-bomb, except for very rarely when you're really trying to get an important point across, I would say, maybe. Or, like, the GD word, like, drop that. Like, there's some things that I don't say, but, like, I've been holding back from saying, like, shit and damn and things like that. And I don't think I'm going to hold that stuff back. But as for...
Where did that come from?
No, because what I was going to say, like, because, like, as for, like, the private life like that, like, I don't know if I'll ever discuss that.
Oh, okay.
Like, maybe one day if I ever got shacked up and had kids or something, like, then I would talk about it. But it's one of those things, it's like, if somebody's really interested, just... Hey, message me. I'll let you know through a message. I'm just not gonna just blast it out. But you already know because you and me talk off air, so you kind of know what's going on.
Oh yeah. 100%.
But yeah. So like I was, so just going through like all that stuff of like how you want to present yourself online, and that's a weird thing because we do have this power right now through these mics that millions and millions of people that could listen if they potentially wanted to, and between social media and everything else that we have in our lives, I feel like we put a lot out there anyway. Do you feel like you put a lot of your life out in the universe? Because I know I do.
I don't. Like, I have a Facebook. I don't really post anything. I rarely like things. Like, when I say like things, I mean like things on Facebook, not like I hate the world and everything.
Yeah. But like you just don't smash the like button.
Yeah, I don't smash the like button. I don't smash the love button. Smash the haha button or whatever. Like, I don't take pictures. You've seen me. I don't tweet. I respond to you. That's about it. I'll retweet a few things here and there. That's about it. I think
getting you to share the posts is difficult enough.
I think I've maybe posted 3 pictures on Instagram. I mean, I'm on Instagram following people, but I'm not a big like social media. Like I'm on it, especially if like something like breaking news. That's when I'll be on Twitter. Like when the Khalil Mack trade went down and stuff like that. I was all over Twitter all day trying to figure out, what was going on and stuff like that. But no, I don't really. I don't really put myself out there on social media like that.
What about when it comes to this? When it comes to the podcast?
Oh yeah, I think this is honestly probably where I'm my most authentic when it comes to the whole like social media landscape. Or like, you know what I mean? Because like obviously when you don't have headsets on, we're just like hanging out. Then of course that's going to be the authentic person that you are. But here, I absolutely like I don't. You know what I mean? Like now, do I word things differently? Of course.
Yeah.
But
see, that's
like,
my point. But I don't go blasting out like if
No.
I'm on a date with somebody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think it's weird that I use my girlfriend's name and stuff like that?
No, I don't. I that's kind of. I'm glad we're having this talk. We need to figure this out because like I have assignments over this, and of course I only know my own opinion. I don't really get to see other people's, but I wonder what they're thinking of as I'm thinking of these things because I am going to put myself out there when it comes to like wild, embarrassing stories. Like I hope to tell like a lot of stories of.
That's how you connect with people.
All the times, we've, gotten trashed and done dumb things, or whether we were kids and we did things we knew better than, but we did them anyway.
Right.
Broke something, got in trouble, those kind of things. Like, embarrassing stories. Like, I'm giving the listeners a chance to ask. And if, and they're actually, there perhaps is a female in that story. That's why it's very embarrassing.
All right.
Like, I mean, I'll put those stories out there. But yeah, like I think the podcast and when it comes to my social media, like I just you know how you can do the Instagram stories. Like I very rarely will take a picture with somebody that I'm hanging out with at night.
Yeah,
and just being like, yo, because like, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to brag to the world like, yo, I'm with
That's
this
what
chick,
I mean.
or I'm with this group of friends or whatever. You know what I mean?
Like this is what I'm gonna say is gonna sound very like mean, and I am sorry for how brash it's up, but like I don't really care what your thoughts are while you're watching. Like if you're not sitting next to me, like I'm sorry, I don't really care what your opinion is about the Cubs game unless you want to like text me and talk about it. Then that's okay. But like I'm not gonna get on Twitter and be like, dude, that was definitely strike 3. Like what's this umpire on right now?
Oh, okay.
Like,
time out. I like that. I like that you can do that on Twitter.
I like that you can
start
do
a
it,
group chat.
But like I'm personally not gonna do it. I respect other people that want to do it. That's fine. But just me personally, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like.
But you're also a nice guy. You're not going to go leave a negative comment.
No, I'm not going to be like, dude, you suck, man. You lost us the game that night. Like, what the heck, man? Like, I'm not going to, like, I would never do that. Like, if anything, I would just, like, retweet, like, oh, hey, thank you for voting me to my first All-Star game or whatever. Just put a little like on there, retweet it, do whatever. Like, put a like on it. I sound like I'm 80. But,
just put a like on it.
Yeah, but, whatever. I'll tell you what I did like, though. This past weekend, Tyquill Woodley apparently just
Tyquill.
Yeah,
is that like
Tyquill,
his twin brother?
That's what Colby calls him, Tyquill Woodley, because Dana puts him on blast and says he's a boring fighter.
Oh,
that wasn't a boring fight.
I didn't realize that you and Darren Till were such friends that you're sharing the same nickname for the guy.
No, it's not Darren Till. Colby Covington calls him
right.
that.
That's right. Hey, what happened to that guy?
Apparently, that's. They're both calling for it now. They're both calling for it. And I liked what Woodley said. Well, first off, dominant victory by him. I'm looking at the stats right now.
Darren Till, black belt. That was.
And I like the fact that he said this means more to me than this belt right now.
Well, yeah. If you ask any martial artist that's been doing jiu-jitsu long enough, they would say that it's worth, the black belt to them is worth more than a master's degree or a PhD, because they had to put more time into it. And not only is jiu-jitsu so mentally taxing, and obviously physically taxing, like they say that the years it takes to get a black belt, that means more to them than earning a PhD in rocket science. You know what I mean? Like that's some deep stuff. When you hear like one person who says that, you're like, oh, okay. 2 people says it, you're like, oh wow, there's a couple people with the same opinion.
Well, when you told me you
hear dozens.
When you were first telling me what it takes just to get from being a white belt to the next level in any discipline, I was like, oh, okay. Because like I said, my naive thinking was like, okay, 6 months you can go from white belt to, blue belt or whichever discipline you're in. I know you said there's different ranking systems in each things, but I thought it was like, okay, 6 months, and then from that it's probably a year and a half, and then just like each step gets like longer, but I would, you know what I mean? And I would just imagine getting your black belt like would just take years. I mean, he's probably been training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you go on average, and I say this, I don't know why I keep coming in so hot there. If you go on average of how long it takes most people, I'm just going to say common people, normal people, it takes them 10 to 15 years. And that's going probably 2-3 days consistently a week.
And Tyron Woodley's 33, so that means he started when he was 18.
Yeah, but then you have those super athletes, and I'm stealing all this from Josh Pacini because we actually just talked about this the other night. And he was saying then you have those rare people that just go 5 to 7 days a week, which is insane. Like,
you could just you could even have guys that are just ridiculously talented. Like, do you think it took 15 years for like Brian Ortega or Damian Maia to get their black belt? No, I'm sure they probably
no. But that's what I'm saying. So those are the outliers. We're talking about the outliers,
okay.
Like the BJ Penn or something. I think was at one point the fastest. Or I think he still is in MMA. He's the fastest black belt learned, and it was like 3 or 4 years. I think it was 3.
That's
which is insane.
Unbelievable.
That's like basically sleeping, eating, and it's nothing but jiu-jitsu on the mats. Yeah. So
that was awesome for Tyron Woodley. But so what'd you think of the fight?
I thought it was very dominant, and Woodley did to Darren Till what a grown man does to a kid.
I mean, Darren Till, I'm looking at the stats right here on the UFC website, which these have become official. He landed 1 strike during that fight.
I'm surprised he did that.
And Woodley landed 74 shots. And then I like the fact, too, that Joe Rogan did, or not, it's not even Joe Rogan, it's everybody does it now. Call out your next fighter. What do you want next? He was like, I'm not calling out anybody because whenever I call out people, you guys hate on me for wanting that fight. So it's like whoever they put in front of me can get these hands. And I was like, boom. I've always liked Tyron Woodley, besides when he was fighting Wonder Boy because I'm just a big Wonder Boy fan. But it's not that I didn't like him. I was just rooting against him, unfortunately, in that fight. There can't be 2 winners. But
sir, it's 2018. Everybody gets a participation trophy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But I mean, it was insane. He looked fantastic. I mean, that was the Tyron Woodley that beat Robbie Lawler, that beat Josh Koscheck, that beat, you know what I mean, all those guys before him. And then you get matched up against 2 of the worst guys that fight stylistically in Wonder Boy and Damian Maia. And that's what, if you want to beat him, look at the blueprint now. Colby Covington did the same exact thing Tyron Woodley did to Damian Maia. They did the same exact thing. And who beat him first? Tyron Woodley did.
Yeah.
Colby Covington did exactly what he did. It might not be entertaining, but he's trying to keep his belt and build his legacy.
Tyron can adapt pretty well to everybody's style, and like whatever they're weak at, he's good at.
And people always talk about how smart he is and cerebral he is. Like, it's insane. Like, where do you think now that he ranks, like, on the all-time list?
Oh, not outside the top 10.
Still in welterweights of all time?
Yeah, he still has to fight Murderer's Row for me to jump on board.
So I mean, do you think? I mean, so you got Matt Hughes, GSP.
Well, GSP is obviously number 1.
So GSP, Matt
Hughes is number 2. Man, I was not prepared to go down through this. Like,
no offense, like I would go Tyron Woodley better than Matt Serra. I would say he's better than.
Yeah.
I mean, we can come back to this later, but I think he's slowly cemented. I think he's better than Robbie Lawler. I mean, he beat him obviously, but I think he has a better legacy than Robbie Lawler now. Robbie Lawler went to war with Rory McDonald.
Example, I still think Nick Diaz was a better 170 guy. Watching him throw down, man, that dude is phenomenal. So, like, I mean,
hopefully we can see him fight soon.
To me, with the belting system being basically whoever makes the most money, which I'm not opposed to, but it's not always the guy who deserves it or even the best guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the guy with the biggest name, kind of thing. The more Twitter followers.
What's gonna sell fights?
Yeah. So it's. To me, that back in GSP's early run, it was who's number 1. That's who GSP got, right? So same thing with Nick Diaz. Back when he was in 170, like, he got Murderer's Row because he was near the top, and he just never climbed that mountain fully.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that has to do with legacy. Maybe I'm just that guy now who's turning into that guy who just always says Jordan's the best just because he's the oldest. He's older than LeBron, so we have to assume that he's the best. It's kind of like that thing.
Yeah.
There's some guys that are just older that, I mean, they may even still fight today. Like Nick could still fight.
Yeah.
those guys just fought Murderers Row in their careers. And I
Yeah.
mean, granted, it's at different weights and stuff like that. But I mean, realistically, how long is Tyron going to stay at 170? What, like he said, like what if Khabib comes up? Was he just kidding around, or does he really not want to fight Khabib?
I feel like he would destroy Khabib.
I do too, but maybe he was just being polite. But if some guys are serious, like sometimes you talk that stuff into existence.
I think if I'm Tyron Woodley, I know he didn't call anybody out after the fight. There's really only two guys for you to fight right now. It's either Colby or like GSP.
What about Usman?
I mean, I feel like the UFC would give it to Colby first, but I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Usman. Usman's an animal.
I bet you Usman gets the next shot.
You think so?
Yeah, I got a weird feeling.
Yeah, I could see, since he was so dominant, I could see them throwing him on that card in November against Colby. Because Colby's apparently he's back on Twitter now. He's back on Instagram. He's doing all. He's back. I
was wondering why he went away. That dude went away cold.
Exactly.
That was weird.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden now, Tyron Woodley wins and he's back on it. Let's go. Come to Madison Square Garden. Come get it. Blah blah blah. Where were you?
Do you think he would have called out Darren Till?
Yeah. Well, I think Colby was going to get the next. If that's what they're going to do, if they're not going to do a super fight. Then I think Colby was next regardless. And, I just listening to Brandon Shaw, we were kind of talking about this a little bit.
Did you just call him Brandon?
Brendan.
Oh.
Listen to his below the belt a little bit, talking about like his, some stories that he's heard and stuff like that. I think the UFC was rooting for Darren Till and then hoping they could get a Darren Till Colby Covington fight.
Dude, he had the most karaoke walkout song ever. Darren Till. Did you hear it?
What was it?
Sweet Caroline.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he came out to that in Liverpool too. Yeah.
Sweet Caroline. Bum,
That was
bum,
sick.
bum.
Yeah.
Come on, you got to get down with that.
Yeah. Well, there's all these crazy rumors too that on Instagram, GSP's looking trim. They're saying that he's probably just waiting for the winner of Conor Khabib.
I mean, if he wants to get paid some more, that's the best idea. And he's, I think, besides Conor, the next top grosser in the UFC. I think he even makes more than Brock, if I remember correctly.
And the thing is, I don't think, and I'm not saying he wouldn't fight him because I think he'd lose to him, because I don't think he would. I don't think he would fight Khabib. I just don't.
Why not?
Because I think George right now, from everything he's saying, he's like, I want to get paid. He's like, I want to do super fights. He's like, my legacy is fine. He's like, super fights are just going to continue to cement my legacy. I want to beat. If you were to beat Conor, like come back after one fight in 5 years and come back and somehow beat Conor, assuming Conor beats Khabib and all the stars align.
You don't think GSP beats both those guys?
I think he does. I think he does.
Then, if you're him, I think he feels like, I feel like I have a legit shot to beat both these guys.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel
weight.
like at that point you want to fight like. I don't know. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that he would fight Woodley instead of Khabib.
GSP?
Yeah.
GSP said Woodley doesn't draw enough interest. He doesn't make enough money for him to
I
come
want to see him fight Woodley more than I want to see him fight Conor or Khabib.
Well, that's just because you're a diehard fan. Like, they're not.
And that's his natural weight.
But that's what I'm saying. The UFC doesn't do that anymore. So what they're doing is what makes money. Well, what makes money? GSP versus Conor. GSP versus Khabib. That makes money. Do you know what doesn't make money?
What?
GSP versus Tyron Woodley.
I still think it would be a draw. I think GSP would carry it mostly, but
he would carry the whole thing.
Yeah.
And let's be real and let's watch these numbers, because when that 125 female title went off the card as the co-main event, then I'm really interested to see how many people now probably didn't buy that card.
Yeah.
Because then it's totally up to Tyron Woodley and Darren Till. Maybe they got good. Well, I think in the UK they don't pay for pay-per-views. They get all that stuff for free, like on Fox or something.
Yeah, it's like one of those like BT Sports or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like something like
British something sports.
Yeah.
So they don't pay for pay-per-views like we do.
No.
And South America doesn't pay for them. So these are basically just North American numbers. And I think that if they don't clear 200,000 buys, then I think that tells you where.
Yeah. Which I think that sucks, because I think that sucks for Woodley.
GSP will get you 800, 900, a million
by
easily
himself,
by himself.
And I think that sucks for Woodley because he's one of their longer tenure champions right now.
Yeah.
DJ just lost the belt. He was obviously the guy that had the belt the longest. I mean, Stipe had it, and
but we're still talking about champ.
Right.
That dude's had the light heavyweight for a while. Like, let's take John Jones out of the equation.
Okay, if you take John Jones out of the equation, of course, but so John Jones will always be in the equation for me. I can't get the leg kick out of my head.
I can't get it. It's stuck in mine too. But Daniel Cormier is always going to be the champion.
100%. But people are thinking that him and John Jones are going to get thrown on that November card. I think that's too soon for DC.
I mean, they could be working all this out behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on.
I mean, of course they could. I think if anything, if you're going to do John Jones DC, I say why not save that for the New Year's card? But I mean, you compete with college football then.
Well, no, because I mean, you are doing that, but they always do that. They always throw a big one in December. But what they want to do is sell out the in-person arena too. Like, that's huge to the UFC. Yeah. The live gate. That has like a lot of factors of whether you can keep doing these big events like that at certain places and things like that. So if you can get a John Jones, Daniel Cormier in Madison Square Garden, I don't see why you don't take it. Yeah. Is that Madison Square Garden or Barclays? I can't remember.
In November, it's in Madison Square Garden.
Okay, yeah. So you need John Jones.
Yeah. So real quick, Andrade, I think she gets the next shot at Rose.
Yeah.
After knocking out Carolina like that with a vicious one.
Yeah, but I think we predicted that after Rose, after she beat Joanna again. Did you see Joanna looks like she's going to get the shot against Shevchenko?
I would take early, way too early to call fight. My early favorite would be Shevchenko, but I'm all in on that.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too.
You could. Why not? If you could do that, put that on the Nunes Cyborg card and have an all-woman fucking UFC card, or like a headliner and a co-main event.
That would be interesting.
How sick would that be?
I think, like, I hate saying this, but I feel to be safe, if you're going to do that, if you're the UFC, you have to have Cyborg fight somebody.
Nunes.
Well, here's the problem with that, and I'm going to explain this to you. Cyborg has to fight somebody at 145 for the 145-pound belt. Then you need Nunes to fight somebody if she still has the belt at 135. So maybe they don't have to do it this year. They could do it next year after Nunes and Cyborg fight, right? So let's just assume that Nunes is still the 135-pound champion, and then you either have to have the 125 or 115, and you have to have 3 women's title fights minimum on that card. And then stack the rest of the card with contenders, that are big name people like Felice Herrig, Michelle Watterson, like that fight that's coming up, like people like that fighting each other also on that card.
Well, you wouldn't even have to do. Okay, I mean, I can't maybe jump the gun on an all-woman card. Maybe just do a woman's main and co-main event, and then just have men on the undercard.
Well, no, I'd want to see it like an all-women's card, kind of like Invicta. Like, I don't know if UFC can technically do that because of Invicta, but if they can, I would still watch it.
They could sell the heck out of that, man.
I not only would I watch it, if you put 3, especially 3 title fights, and if they're women title fights on a card, I'm ordering that thing.
Oh, yeah.
You put 2, I'm still ordering that thing. Yeah. If you put 1, well, if it's Nunes, Cyborg, I'm going to order it. But if it's not, but I'd like to see an all women's card because I love these women fighters that are in the UFC. They're so good.
It's Murderer's Row right now. There are so many good. I mean, Tatiana Suarez. How good did she look?
She's becoming one of my favorites.
She's an animal, and she's got the look that the UFC wants. Yeah. She's the new Megan Anderson. She's the new Megan Anderson right now.
So you're saying she's on the side train until she loses it? Be nice.
Megan's. I mean, she's probably got to announce a fight here.
I think we've been mispronouncing that because I heard it wrong a long time ago. We can go back.
Hopefully, she announces a fight here soon. I want to see her fight again. But other quick MMA news before we wap here. What do you think of Verdum getting 2 years? Popping hot.
He's no longer in my consideration for top heavyweights ever. Unless I'm being I am baseball and letting the steroid era come in.
Do you think we see him fight in the UFC again, or do you think he might you think he might be donezo?
I think that's a career killer.
Yeah. Okay, and then they announced their own. I'm assuming it's the only press conference, but September 20th, UFC 229, Conor and Khabib, and there's only going to be 3 people there. It's going to be Dana White, Conor McGregor, and Khabib. Who's going to break up the fight? Do you think? That's my next question.
My question to you would be: do you think there's anything in the contract saying that
100%
you can't touch each other until 100%. The night of the fight?
100. Like if you have any crazy antics like that again, then like the fight's off and like you forfeit your entire purse or something.
Do you think there's like a stipulation or like a clause that like you can bypass. It's like you can't punch him, or each other, but you can open hand slap. You can Stockton slap somebody.
Oof.
Are you doing it?
I mean, are you asking me from a fighter's perspective, or if you're the UFC, do you think you allow that?
Yeah, the UFC.
I mean, of course not. But of course you would if you're the UFC. But
what if
you think one fighter's just gonna let another man or woman slap them and not try to retaliate? That would be chaos, dude. You saw what happened to John Jones in DC the first time they faced off.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people bought that card.
I mean, it was amazing, but there's no way the UFC would want to. And how crazy is it that they're using the Dolly incident to promote this fight?
Hang on, you knew they would because they used the water bottle throwing incident when Nevada or whoever was like, we're going to find you $300,000. He's like, okay, I just won't fight anymore.
But I just want
no, just do the commercial.
I just want people every day to remember Dana White's impromptu press conference immediately following that, and see what he's doing now with this.
Yeah, we knew they were going to use, like, if nobody had any doubts, like everybody knows how.
Oh, of course not. It's making everything more. It's getting me more hype for it, but it's just crazy how like straightforward and like this is a disgusting act. The UFC wants nothing to do with this person. Would you want to do business with this person? Blah 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 blah. And then you're using that incident that you were so disgusted with to promote your fight. Like, I get it. You got to roll around. You got to roll around in it, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would not chastise somebody like that and then go use it. I would just say, put out my public PR statement saying, "Hey, this is not acceptable. We do not condone this."
Yeah.
And then I would be up front and say to the fans, be like, "But this is going to be used to sell the fight."
Yes.
And as a fan, I would just be like, well, of course, like I'm saying now, but like at least then it would be funny and honest.
Yeah.
Most importantly, in the back end of that part, honest.
Yeah.
So that's why I think people feel like, oh, so you're going to sit here and just point the finger and say you can't, do this. This is bad for our business and all this yada yada, and then use it for business. Yeah. That doesn't make much sense.
No, and I'm glad they're using it because I'm hoping it gets casual fans more excited for the fight because I can't be more excited for this.
I am jacked up for this.
I still don't know if I'm working.
Well, you get to see it at work, so I don't feel bad for you.
Well, of course, but I would rather be able to watch it in just like chill mode instead of.
Do you want to come over here and watch it? If not,
I'm off,
you and Caitlin.
Yeah, if I'm off, we could figure something out, dude.
Talk about somebody who's got a lot of shout outs in this episode as we're about to wrap up.
Caitlin might be our third co-host here before you know it. Man.
Hey, we've got more mics, man.
Yeah,
more the merrier. I need more people in studio.
So, anything else? Anything else you want to share with the listeners before we wrap this up here?
Nope. Actually, I wrote a poem.
Did you? Would you like to share it, or do we have to get more DMs? Let's get more DMs. If we can get 10 people to slide.
It's not DMs. It's just post on there publicly. I want people to see that there's participation, so it encourages other people to participate.
Okay.
I've got one family member, who comments and says nice things, and I wish people and when he does it, I get excited because I'm like, people are gonna follow his lead, and then not enough people do.
Okay, yeah. Post. Let us know if you want to hear Steven's ice cream story and poem on the next episode of Headkick Radio.
I should just do a segment where I just start writing poems. Hang on, a quick question. I was talking to somebody that it was recently, a couple of days ago, and I was saying, it was just casual conversation, and I said something about I always take notes on my phone daily. Like, I always type in notes. Like, if something comes across my brain, I just type it down. I say write it down, but I just type it down. And then I go back over those notes, just randomly, and I mull them over again. I'm like, oh, is this, how does this, benefit, my brain or what I'm doing? Or can it be used as content? Can it be used as something productive for the brand? Can it be used productive for school? Can it be used productive for life? And then I do a lot of writing and stuff outside of here. So I'm always just typing stuff down. But my favorite ones is when funny things just pop up in my head. And usually in the moment they're so funny, but like to type it out it'd be really long. So I just do little short, little snippets. And I actually do have one of those from I think it was early on in this summer. And so when I was going back through my phone, I mean, I'm trying to find it right now as I'm talking, but I was going back and I found it, and I just started dying laughing because it was like I relived that moment all over again. Have you ever had one of those?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Was this something funny that happened, or was it?
Yeah. So, I was walking to the train from the beach on a Saturday, and I remember it distinctly. Maybe it was, no, it might, yeah, it was a Saturday. It doesn't matter. And I had this friend who came up to visit from Oklahoma who was here. And so we were walking back from the beach, going to the L stop to come home, and come right around the corner of this CVS. And the walk signs were on. This homeless guy was pushing this cart. It was just stacked full of stuff. And it was a bright, sunny day, upper 70s. Felt really nice outside. And this homeless guy goes, you know, I have the cutoff sleeves on. He goes, "What up, tattoo guy?" Without missing a beat, I just pounded my chest and I go, "What up, homeless guy with a cart?" And then just worked my way. And as I was walking away, I was about 4 steps past him. He figured out what I said. He goes, "Oh, that was good." And then I just scooted on down into the basement there for the train. And I just died laughing, and it was pure gold.
That's hilarious.
So I found that, and I just relived that moment in my head all over again.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
And that segment of Steven's phone notes is brought to you by
Nothing.
Head Kick Radio.
Ooh, there we go. Mugs.
Dude, this mug is dope, isn't it?
That is super nice.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up, brother.
All right, this is
episode what?
I don't
17? know. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20?
Just keep rattling off.
Something in there.
Let's rattle off to 100, and then I'll just edit it out to the one that we actually use. I'm just messing with you.
Good.
You know, that'd take forever. But all right, everybody, this has been another fun episode of Head Kick Radio. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you comment, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Start sharing these posts if you listen to it this far into the podcast. And if you listen to us this far along into this podcast, I just want you to know I truly appreciate you.
Yes.
Each and every single one of you. And if Caitlin is listening and she's still hanging in here, she was waiting for this last name drop so that her life could be complete. So, Caitlin, another shout out. This has been fun. Justin, what are we?
We out.
Say hello to the stars above.